Welcome to the Big Four Accounting Firms podcast, brought to you by big4accountingfirms.com and the Big Four Accounting Firms YouTube channel. Before we get started, just wanted to remind everybody to support us if you have a chance or if you can. Even $1 helps, and we have a link in the description to a website called Buy Me a Coffee. It's just a way to donate to us and support us. Again, any amount is helpful so that we can keep putting out content. And there's also other ways for you to support us in the show notes to this podcast or on YouTube in the description. In today's podcast, we're going to be discussing BDO because BDO recently released their 2020 results for their United States firm. And BDO United States announced that they had $1.8 billion in revenue for the year ending April 2020. So this does not include most of the problems related to coronavirus, since we were only about a month or two into the coronavirus at that point. And this revenue number represents an increase of 11.3% year over year. And this is the 8th consecutive year of growth for BDO US. In 2019, BDO earned $1.64 billion in revenue in the US. And then this year, as we said before, they earned $1.8 billion. And Kelly Johnson, who is the chair of the board of directors of BDO, had the following to say: "As the last few months have shown us, organizational resilience has proven invaluable as the global community continues to face extraordinary challenges. The unwavering commitment to excellence, stability, and longevity from Wayne and his leadership team will continue to serve people, our clients, and community well. Our world-class workforce, dedication to exceptional client services, and purposeful innovation have been instrumental in our growth and provided a solid foundation, which is especially underscored during tumultuous times." And he's talking about Wayne, who's the BDO US CEO, and Wayne had the following to say: "We are fortunate to be in a strong position heading into the crisis, and despite uncertainty, continue to lead with empathy and purpose, while prioritizing innovation and building long-term organizational resilience. Over the past few months, we've taken steps to strengthen our business and mitigate risk, which has put BDO on solid footing to navigate the unknown and unwieldy national recovery." Another thing that BDO mentioned in this release is that they launched a digital offering through BDO Digital LLC, which they say helped contribute to their growth. And another thing they said is they expanded into 6 more markets that contributed to the growth. And they expanded into new markets by acquiring ACM LLP, which is focused in the Rocky Mountain region, and that means they're mainly in Wyoming and Colorado. And then BDO also acquired CFO Advisors, which is located in Detroit. And these are relatively small practices, but these are acquisitions that BDO can make to hopefully eventually get them up to Big Four accounting firms level. And most of their growth was due to advisory, which grew by 29.4%. Tax grew by 8.8%, and audit grew by 6%. And those numbers sound pretty good, right? But not when you compare it to prior year, because last year BDO had growth of 40% in their advisory business. And tax only grew by 8.4% last year, and audit grew by 4.3%. So tax and audit did better this year, but advisory suffered. And you have to realize that these numbers are before COVID. So it seems like their advisory business was already tailing off as businesses learned about COVID. And BDO also recently announced the acquisition of Quantum Global Advisors, which is an international insurance claim and valuation consulting practice headquartered in Chicago. So hopefully that'll contribute to their growth in the future. But even despite this rosy picture that BDO painted with 11% results, they still utilized pay cuts in the United States, and they furloughed employees in the UK. But BDO hasn't released their global results yet, and they won't do so until December. So we'll have to see how they did globally when the results come out in December to see if they're as good as the US. And this is pretty good growth. It obviously doesn't go through the summer like most of the Big Four accounting firms that have released their results. So we'll have to see how things go. And it obviously wasn't too good if they had to cut people's pay. And we're not sure if BDO laid anybody off. But we'll keep an eye on that. That's the update today. To stay up to date on all this news, make sure to subscribe to this podcast
subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you can financially support us, there's a link in the show notes. It's a Buy Me a Coffee link that you can utilize to financially support us. If not, then just make sure to subscribe and like our video on YouTube if you get a chance. Thanks for listening.